we're talking about self-care today, what we're going to be doing is watching a video. And the master instructor is Angela Fraley. We realize that as home mentors, you really are a caregiver, for your own children, the family members that live in your house, but some of you have outside responsibilities. You might have an aging parent you're caring for. You might have somebody in the home that has a disability. So just know that you're not alone and you can reach out. If you want any more information about the biography of the person that's speaking or the organization itself, you can just click on the biography form in the slides that we're sharing out. And let's get started.
Welcome everybody. My name is Angela Fraley and I'm a master instructor for conscious discipline. I come to you today as not only an instructor, but I come to you also as a parent and a grandparent as well. And so we all many times have thought to ourselves, oh my goodness, I've messed up my own children. I wish I could do things differently. Some days we're walking through a day and we're feeling pretty good and things are going pretty well and we're like, hey, look at this, I got it. And then the next day, everything goes wrong. You're thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? What do I do differently? And the good news is today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about no matter how you're feeling in the moment, no matter how you're feeling as you're interacting with other people, with your children, you're going to have some strategies to be able to manage that and work through it and learn from it at the same time. Because conscious discipline is all about looking at behavior differently, looking at conflict differently, and being willing to look at our oops moments, our mistakes, and learn how to do it differently the next time and handle it. So thus shifting from the problem to a solution. We're really good at focusing on the problem and talking about the problem over and over and over and over again. What we're not good at doing is shifting over to the solution and saying, how could we do this differently and working together? So today's topic is wishing you wellness. And so what does that mean? That means that we're going to help you focus on things that are going to be helpful to you to take care of yourself. Because we all know that we need some help in that area. We're really good at taking care of everybody else, but at the end of the day, we pass out. We don't have any time to have time for ourselves just to recharge. Like we all have to have time to recharge. And especially when we're giving so much of ourselves to the people around us, to our family and to our friends. So I want you to think about a day that, things are going really great with your kiddos and, they might have some quirky behaviors that kind of get on your nerves. Maybe you have one that whines a little bit every now and then. And when you're feeling pretty good, like you can handle that whining. You can tell them how to say it differently. Oh, you wanted a drink of water. Say, can I have a drink of water, please? And you're brilliant in that moment. So you're able to access what we call in conscious discipline, your executive state. So you've moved them from their emotional state where the whining comes out, and we help them access their skills in the executive state. And so we go, yay, look at me, I should write a book about parenting because I'm so fantastic. So then the next day, whining happens again, about typically the same thing, but you're a little cranky, not at your best, you're tired, didn't sleep so well, and you've got all these lists of things you've got to get done that day, and your child starts the whining, and your reaction is very different. It's like, really? Am I the only one that knows how to get water around this house? I like to have water too. Does anyone ever bring me water? And we kind of go into this big long rant in that moment. So I want you to think about it. What has actually changed in those situations? Is it the behavior that changed? The child's behavior? No, the whining is the same. What's changed? How you felt on the inside. So in the moment that you're calm, you're able to access your brilliance, your skills in your executive state and solve the problem, tell your child how to do it differently. But the days that you're cranky, you don't have access to those skills. And so what we have to start doing is realizing that, first of all, our typical response is when we make a mistake is to beat ourselves up in our head over and over again. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that again. And why did I do that? And that's what my mom did to me. And now I'm doing the same thing. And just know that everybody deals with the same thing. So the good news is that today we're going to talk about some things that you can do to help take care of you, because that's the bottom line. If you don't take care of yourself, if you don't make deposits for yourself, there's going to be nothing for anyone to withdraw. So you have to be willing to give yourself permission to take care of yourself. So if you're willing, give me a thumbs up if you're willing to commit to giving yourself permission to taking care of yourself, because that is the most important thing that has to happen. You can't help someone else if you can't help yourself. So just like on a plane, they'll tell you if the oxygen masks come down, that you have to put on your mask first before you can help someone else. So same thing, you've got to take care of yourself first. So before we go any further, I want to kind of tie the examples that I just gave to our brain state model in conscious discipline. So the day that you're feeling great and things are going well and your child's whining about wanting a drink of water, and you respond in a helpful way and you say, you want a drink of water. Say, can I have a drink of water, please? And they do it and you're like, oh, I did it, yay, look at me. That's your executive state. That's where we want to operate from. That's where we want to help children operate from, because it's where we can problem solve and learn. So then on the second day, when you're feeling really cranky, what you did in that situation was very different. You reacted to it and said, really? I'm the only one that, that can get you a drink of water? You can't get someone else to get you a drink of water? I want a drink of water too. So in the moment, we react in that very negative, cranky way because that's how we feel. So we're not able to access our brilliant skills like in our executive state, and we react. In our emotional state, we have what Dr. Badel refers to as our CD-ROM. So all the things that our parents, grandparents, whoever said to us, like, you better dry it up or I'm going to give you something to cry about, those are all stored there. And we say them whether we want to or not. We can say, I hated it when my parents said that to me. And then when we're in our emotional state, we open up our mouth and out comes our mother or our dad. And so the point of that is that in that moment, we have a choice. If we notice that that happens, we can take a deep breath so that we could actually do it the way we want to, the way that we did that first day when we're feeling good and everything's going great. We can realize that and then shift to that higher brain state. But then another one that we could actually do would be also the survival state. The survival state is where our fight or flight response, all of those kinds of, again, more reaction. So even though it may not be with words, we're reacting in a physical way. So we might throw the water bottle at them in that case, because we're perceiving them as a threat to our existence in that moment. So an important point to note is that all humans experience these brain states. So you can have all of the knowledge in the world, but still you're gonna have those days that you don't feel good, that you're cranky, that you're tired, you're hungry, and you're stressed, beyond your limits. Everybody experiences these. So I'm sure many times, like me, you've thought, oh my gosh, I'm the only horrible parent in the world, and what is wrong with me? And there's not anything wrong with you. We all experience all of the brain states by design. When we start to really understand this, that's when we can give ourselves a break. And so instead of going, oh my gosh, why did I do that? I'm a horrible parent. We can actually stop, take a deep breath, and say, next time I'm gonna do this. Next time I'm gonna say, can I have a drink of water, please? That might even be in that moment. You could stop yourself, take a deep breath, do a little take two, and do it again. Because that is a wonderful teaching moment for your child, to see the contrast from the other way to the way that you want them to do it. That's a huge learning thing for them. So again, the first thing that we have to do is give ourselves permission to take care of ourselves. Because a lot of times we're like, I don't have time for that. My kid has baseball practice, my kid has homework, all these different things. But there's times that you can fit in 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So we're going to be talking about different ways that you're going to do that. But the first step is you have to give yourself permission to take care of yourself. So right now, say to yourself, I'm going to give myself permission to take care of me so I can better take care of everyone around me. Because you want to do that too, right? You want to take care of everyone around you, but you also want to take care of yourself. So the first tool in your wellness toolbox is to notice. So here's what I mean by notice. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to notice your breathing right now. A lot of times when we notice something, we change it. So did your breathing change? Did you take a deep breath? Did you change it because of that? Just becoming aware of something helps us to be able to change it. So now I want you to notice your heart rate. So actually check it. Is it fast? Is it slow? Do you even know? Because sometimes we don't even know when our heart rate is elevated. So take note of that. You know, when your child starts whining, if that's a trigger of yours, notice. Did your breathing change? Did your heart rate change? Everybody has cell phones now. We do a lot of looking down, lose the C curve in our neck, and those kinds of things. And what it does is when one thing gets out of alignment, everything can get out of alignment. So I want you to think about a day, one of those days that like it was kind of a blur. Everything happened so fast. It was go, 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 go. You're going 90 miles to nothing. And then at the end of the day, you're like, oh my gosh, my back is killing me. And you're asking yourself, what in the world did I do for, you know, my back to be hurting so much like this? How am I just now noticing this? And that's because we have to practice noticing. Our body gives us information and will give us some warning signs, but we have to be willing to listen to them. And that's when we slow down and notice those different, you know, how we feel in our body each time. A lot of, you know, what we do every day is very unconscious. So kind of an example of that is if you've ever before you were supposed to go somewhere after work and you drove home. Like, and you're like, oh my gosh, I drove home. Like we kind of go into autopilot sometimes. So sometimes we do things and we don't even realize that we did it. So we question ourselves, did I shut the garage door? You know, and you do it every day. So it becomes an automatic thing. So I think that's how easily that can happen to us during the day. It's because we do these things all the time. So we don't notice when we've done something that's kind of overtaxed our body, or we've done something and we've been in kind of an awkward, you know, posture. And so it causes things to be out of alignment and ends up causing pain, which can cause big health issues. So knowing that, I'm sure everybody's had one of those days where it's the end of the day, you're like, oh my gosh, like what in the world did I do to feel like this? So I want you to take a moment and I want you to really pause and I want you to think about the last time you were really, really upset. So think about what maybe the other person did to kind of help you go there in that moment. You know, what do you notice? What did you notice in your body that changed? Did you notice your tone changing if you were talking? Could you feel the blood rush to your face or to your ears or to your neck? Could you feel your hands clench up? Could you feel your shoulders start to tense up? Could you feel your jaw tightening because of that moment being so intense? What did you notice? So really pause and think about, what did you notice? What do you notice that happened in that moment? A lot of the things that happen in those moments, we don't even realize are happening. The way that our body reacts to those stressful situations, we don't even realize that it's happening. It also might be a look on your face. I know before someone has said something to me and evidently my face said something back because they said, why did you make that face? And I was like, I didn't know I made a face. So our body will communicate a lot of things, not only to us, but to other people. So in that moment, really think about, where did it start? Do you feel it in your stomach? Or maybe your lower back? Or, you know, where did you feel that tension? Now, you might have had a whole bunch of cues from your body, but you didn't realize it until you had a headache later. Because that's what we tend to do. We don't listen to when our body tells us we need to change and maybe even take a break, or even just to breathe. Because those are the moments that cause us to get overloaded to where we end up getting sick, or we stay in this cranky, overwhelmed mood for such a long time. But it's because we're not conscious, we're not aware of what our body is telling us. So what we're going to be talking about today is these different things that you can do to take care of you. These are going to be things that you're going to have to first off notice when you're triggered, when your body is telling you, this is a really stressful moment for me. So we're going to actually practice with this noticing, because noticing is listening. So when you're thinking about as far as your body is telling you that it's experiencing a high amount of stress, we have to listen to our body. So that means we have to slow down for one thing and stop talking, which is hard for people. Me, I have a hard time stop talking, but we have to have time to slow down so we can listen to what's going on. We're going to do an exercise now to help you practice to notice the difference between what, tense and relaxed is. Sometimes we don't even know what that is. We have to have that something to reflect back to. Are my shoulders tense or are they relaxed? So we have to know the difference. So this exercise is going to help you to do that. So I want you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath first. And I want you just to focus on relaxing your eyes. Relax your eyes. Maybe even take some more deep breaths. Relax your eyes. Now your jaw. And notice, do you hold a lot of tension in your jaw? Relax that. What's that feel like? Now relax your neck. And then your shoulders. Work our way down your body scan. Relax your shoulders. Now your upper arms. Now your forearms. Take another breath if you need to. Now your hands. What about your upper back? Where's that at? Do you feel any difference? Notice that, because that could be where you hold a lot of your tension. Now move down to your lower back. And now down to your thighs. Take another breath if you need to. Now down to your calves. If your feet are crossed, uncross them. Relax your calves. Now your feet. So notice that difference. When you're tense in that moment, you're going to be able to start noticing that, oh, I'm feeling it in my shoulders. Or, oh, I'm feeling it, in my stomach, or I feel it in my jaw. Once you're able to start being aware of that, then that's when you can change it. So not until you're conscious of it. So this may take some practice for you. If you have trouble going to sleep at night, like many people do, I do a lot of times, because my brain won't stop talking. It keeps coming up with all these things that I need to do and take care of and reflect on. And so this body scan can help you do that. You're focused on just noticing how you're feeling and relaxing it. So as you're doing it, if you notice your shoulders are tense, you're going to work on relaxing them. You might even stretch them out or tighten them up and then let them go and relax them out. But it takes practice. And you have to be willing to give yourself permission to take time to do this. But it will be worth it, even if it's just a minute. Take time to slow down to be able to do that, because you have to take care of you first. So notice, that was our first one. And then now breathe. And now you might say to yourself, well, hello, I breathe every day or I wouldn't be alive. But what we don't take time to do is take a deep breath. And not only just a deep belly breath, but in through our nose. So let's do that. This is how we teach little ones to take a deep breath. We say, touch your nose. You're going to take a deep breath. And then you're going to exhale it out really slow. Big exhale. And make sure your shoulders are relaxed. That's something I have to focus on. I used to notice I was breathing with my shoulders. So relaxing my shoulders and taking a deep breath in my nose. Filling in my belly and exhale out. So again, that's another thing that takes practice. Seems kind of silly, but we have to have time to pause so we can reset ourselves sometimes, especially in those difficult moments. When we're in traffic and we're running late, in those moments, what ends up happening? Our breathing becomes more shallow. We might even be yelling at people to get out of our way because we're late for something. But the most important thing that we can do in that moment is pause. These people did not leave their house in their car to get on your nerves. They are simply going somewhere just like you. So you're going to pause and you're going to take a deep breath. Because breathing helps us change our perspective, see things differently, Not see it as something that's annoying or seeing something that it's a threat to us, but help us see it differently so we can respond instead of react. So looking at the slide, it says inhale calm, exhale stress. So I want you to picture in your head, if calm could look like something, it could be a color or it could be something that you visualize. What does calm look like? So as you take a deep breath now, I want you to visualize that calm going in, and then when you think about stress, what does stress look like? What color would it be if it was a color? Is it a picture of something that stresses you out? So you're going to picture yourself, after you inhale the calm, you're going to exhale that stress out, which means it's gone after that. So you're getting rid of that stressful thing. Then you're going to be able to see things differently. So let's try that again. Picture calm in your head again. Deep breath in through your nose. And we're going to exhale that stress out. Big exhale out. Get it out of there. All of these different things that we do to help ourselves, the great thing about it is we can also teach this to our kids. And there's two different ways that we teach our kids. One way is they watch us and they do the same thing. And then there's another one where we tell them what to do. But guess what they listen to the most? They listen to what you do, not as much what you tell them to do. So you could say, take a deep breath, calm down. But where they really learn it is when they see you do it. You're frustrated, you're running late, and you take a deep breath and say, okay guys, feeling frustrated, I need some help, breathe with me, let's do this. That's how they learn how to do it differently. If you show your frustration by slamming a door, guess what your kid might do? They might slam a door. If you slam a pot down on the counter, guess what your child might do? They might sit their toy down really hard when you tell them it's time to clean up. So children learn by watching us. So these things that you're doing, don't think that, oh my gosh, I'm deserting my family when I do these things. No, you're doing two things. You're giving back to yourself, but then also at the same time, you're practicing things that are going to help your kid and your spouse and your mom and your dad, whoever. These things will help you in each of those situations. All right, so the next one is release it. So thinking back to our body scan that we have, notice in your body where you have most of that tension. And so stretching is a great way to release that tension that's stored in your muscles. So notice that. You don't have to get out a yoga mat and do all this big fancy thing. It can simply be putting your hands on the back of the chair and stretching out, or leaning over to the side and stretching like this. It doesn't have to be something big and fancy. You don't have to go get on your workout gear. You can do it wherever you're at. And your kids can do it with you. So releasing it. But again, this is another thing that we have to notice when our body's telling us we need to release it. So it's notice it, and then you're going to breathe, and then you're going to release it. Because if any of you have done yoga or Pilates, any of those things before, breathing is heavily involved. So it totally makes sense. So it helps us to be able to release those things. So now I want you to think about your favorite thing to do. So it might be, you might be a runner, you might be somebody who loves to make crafts, you might be someone who loves to read books and go to have different book studies with other people. Myself, not a runner. I've had a lot of friends that have said, hey, you need to come run with us. And I'm like, I don't run unless someone's chasing me. But you know what? Do what you love and find people that love doing it too and do it with them. If you love to go hiking, if you love to ride bikes, if you love just to go and sit in a park and watch the squirrels or watch the kids play, do those things. Make sure that you put time in your day to do those things, because those are things that are going to charge you up. So get out and do things that you love to do and find people to share it with. It doesn't have to be your family. It could be friends or people that you can find on social media, people that love to do the same kinds of things, and get in those groups and set time aside for yourself. Because again, all of this is you're helping yourself, but at the same time, you're going to be helping your family, because then you're going to be able to be responding to them in a helpful way as opposed to reacting, which is what we can do when we're overworked, when we're tired, when we're cranky, when we're hungry, and all those things that push our buttons throughout the day. So get out and do something fun. So I want you to commit to yourself right now I want you to say this to yourself, even write it on a sticky note, stick it on the refrigerator, and let everybody know what you've chosen to be your thing that you're gonna get out and do something that you love to do. So commit to that. And then the next one is celebrate. So here's the thing about celebrating. I think really in the United States, we celebrate only the big things that happen with people. But, you know, let's be honest, sometimes we can celebrate the fact that we got up early enough to take a shower, right? It can be as simple as that. So be willing to celebrate those little things, because here's what they do. They motivate you to keep going. When you can go, yay, I did it. Yay, I did it. Yay, I got one of the bathrooms clean. I did it. Way to go. Yay, me. Or yay, I took some time for myself today. Or yay, today I noticed whenever I was starting to feel tense and I took a deep breath and I responded to my child rather than reacting. So be willing to stop and celebrate those moments, because we're really good at noticing when we don't do things well or when we make mistakes. So shift your focus to what you are doing, because that's going to motivate you to keep going and keep trying. And it's hard. Stick it up on the refrigerator. Let everybody know. Put it on Facebook, because you can inspire other people then to start celebrating things like that too. So the next tool for our wellness toolbox is the practice of gratitude. So the act of being grateful. So we hear a lot about that these days, you know, have an attitude of gratitude. And so we're going to talk about really why that happens. When we're in a state of gratitude, we are actually accessing the higher centers of our brain. We're able to respond instead of react. Like you're able to say, oh, you wanted some water, say, can I have a drink of water, please? So that moment when you're feeling good that day helps us to change our perspective. Changes happen biochemically in your body when you feel grateful. So the exercise that I want you to do is I want you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. You've probably, oh yeah, we've done that before. And I was talking to a teacher the other day, and she said that she went home and had each child go around the dinner table and say what they were grateful for. Then her little boy said, don't we do this only on Thanksgiving? But the truth of the matter is we need to be thankful every day, right? So instead of just Thanksgiving, we're going to practice it every day. So those 3 things that you write down, what you're grateful for, could be very similar to what someone else writes down at the same time. So how do we make that truly where you feel what gratitude feels like? So I'll give you an example. So I'm grateful for my husband. And I'm grateful for my husband because he loves me and is helpful to me even when I'm cranky, even when I'm not at my best, even when he knows I'm not using the skills that I've learned from conscious discipline that I train in every day. He's willing to see my mistakes moments as moments that I'm learning from. That's what makes the difference. We add the why we're grateful for it. And that's truly where that feeling of gratitude comes from. It really ties it into that, you know, how we're feeling and how we're connected to other people. Whether they're our family or our friends, it's that feeling of gratitude and truly, you know, changing how we feel on the inside. So you might even challenge yourself to, in the morning when you wake up, have a little note up that says, before you get out of bed, say 3 things that you're grateful for and why before you get going, and get your day started very differently, because you know how we start our day can have a huge impact on the rest of it. So that could be how you could use this assignment, if you will, for your wellness toolbox. So write those things down and then write the why. And then even better, go tell someone else. Share that with someone else. Say, these are the 3 things I'm grateful for, and here's why. And then have them do the same thing with you. Pass that on. What we offer others, we strengthen in ourselves. So practicing all of these things, you're going to get better at it, and then you're going to be able to pay it forward and help others, which is the ultimate goal of all of us. Truly, when we're in that true state of gratitude, we want to help other people. We're not so focused on what can I do for me, what can I do to make it better for me, but we look at everyone around us and we say we're in this together. What can I do differently that's going to impact other people in a positive way? All right, so on to our last one. And this one is what I call take 2. So take 2, because I'm sure you've all had those moments that you have bitten the head off of someone or griped at someone. And in that moment you realize, oh, I wish I wouldn't have said that. I wish I would have handled that differently. So you have a chance now to say, take 2, take a little deep breath, and then do it again. I've caught myself, you can ask my youngest son who's 17 and my husband both. There's been times I've had to rewind and do it differently. The important thing is that we notice that it happens. And instead of beating ourselves up like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that again, I'm gonna do it differently. Or say, next time I'm gonna do this. We're shifting from the problem to solution. How can I do it differently? So here's kind of, what that could look like. And this kind of goes also with the whole, the gratitude thing. If we're feeling good, we see positive things. When we're feeling cranky, we only see the negative things. So I travel a lot to do trainings, and my husband's and youngest son, Scotty, always make sure that they have the house clean before I get home. They vacuum and, clean the bathroom, clean the kitchen, all of that, and get it all cleaned up before I get there. And there was one time that I had been gone maybe even almost 3 weeks in a row, and I was tired and I'm lugging all my dirty clothes in and everything, and I come in and everything's clean except for there are a pile of towels, they're clean towels, on the couch. And so guess what I noticed in my cranky state, in my emotional state? I noticed the towels. I said, really? Am I the only one that knows how to fold towels? And my husband smiles and says, did you notice any of the things that we did do? And then in that moment I went, oops, yeah, take two. All of those things that they did were helpful. I had to do a take two. And I train in this stuff. So give yourself a break and be willing to do a take two. Your take two can be the next day. Anytime they film movies, that happens over, many times, even a year's time video and all that, and they'll go back and redo a spot. It's never too late to do a take two. So be willing to do that. That take two, take a deep breath. Access the higher centers of your brain, your brilliance, where you can respond and do it differently. In those moments when you're doing that, you're modeling that for the other people that you're interacting with. So everybody's always learning from those take two moments, and we all have them. We all have take two moments. So we've gone through several things that we've talked about today that are going to be helpful to you as you take care of yourself. But the first thing that has to happen is you have to be willing to give yourself permission to take the time to do it. So it's making that commitment. So again, like I said earlier, say give me a thumbs up if you're willing to give yourself permission, and do that, and do some check-ins with that. Notice when those things happen. You're going to be willing to breathe, pause and breathe. You're going to release it. You're going to move, go do things that you love. You're going to practice celebrating. You're going to practice gratitude. And you're going to be willing to take two and do it again if you need to, and do it differently, the way you wanted to in the first place. Because you look back and go, oh, I wish I would have done it differently. Now you can. Just do a take two and do it again. But taking care of yourself every day is going to be important. You have to make a commitment to do that, because it's easy to not do that and take care of everyone else around us. But you can't take care of them unless you're taking care of you first. So part of the reason that, we say things like, give yourself permission and, are you willing to do this, is because there's going to be days that you're going to say, I'm not willing today. I'm not willing today. Today I'm going to eat a bag of chips and I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm going to gripe at everybody as they walk by. So you just have to be okay with having those moments and being okay with those mistakes, because the good news is that the next day you can have a totally different perspective and do it differently. But you have to be conscious of the fact that you, in those moments, can choose. You could say, today, not willing. And we all have that. We all have the opportunity to do that. Children also. Again, that's why this life is so hard. That's why it's hard to be a parent. It's hard to be a grown-up. It's hard to be a kid, because this is hard work. Because you're not only having to manage what's going on within you, you're having to help children manage those things. You're having to help your family members, helping them to manage that and just navigate life. So be willing to say, yes, I'm giving myself permission, but also say, I'm passing today, not willing today. So thank you for joining me today. I just want you to know, as you continue to practice these things for yourself and make that commitment to take care of yourself first so you can help others, I just want you to know that in the meantime, I will be wishing you well.
We are going to share some links and some websites with you in the next couple slides. We are going to email this entire presentation out to you with the links and the slides, so don't feel like you need to write down anything or do anything like that. It'll all be sent and it'll be put into the mentor series library, so you'll have all of this whenever you need it to look back on. And the easiest way we thought is with everybody in the area we're at, talking about trying to implement a quick way to put a little bit of wellness in everybody's life was walking. The benefits of walking on your body. We found this little blog on how just putting an extra 2,000 steps in your day can benefit your sleep. This link will take you into a nice little, like I said, blog, and explain to you how that will benefit your life and different ways that you can implement putting that 2,000 extra steps into your life. I also found on the next slide this little form on your body and walking. It's a little bit hard to see, but again, we're going to be sending this out to you. It'll be a little bit easier when you get it in your personal area. We have the form itself brings out different areas on how you can implement. Just 30 minutes a day can reduce symptoms of depression by 36%. So you can improve your mood. You can improve your weight by walking 1 hour, and it can cut down your risk of obesity by half. So this is all scientifically proven, and it tells you exactly how many minutes a day and how many days a week you'd have to do that to improve your different areas and make this beneficial in your life. So if any of these areas are something that you want to improve, you know exactly what you need to do and how many times a week you need to do it to get active in your life. But what I really liked on the next slide was this 275 self-care ideas. This not only brings up the idea of self-care and proven obviously why it's beneficial, which we all know why it's beneficial, but it goes over how to build the habit that sticks. It brings out 275 ideas, and they are all grouped, whether you want something that is mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, socially, and so on. So whatever you're looking for, you can click on that idea or go to that group and find something that is what you want to work on, and go to figure out a plan that'll work in your life and get that developed for something long term that'll work for you, because that's what we're all looking for, something that we can make process good self-care in our lives. Avoid caregiver burnout. I know a lot of people here not only have their kids at home, maybe some personal health issues, but also possibly take care of aging parents or family members. We need to make sure that we know what can help avoid this burnout for us. We need to make sure that we have reasonable goals, that we're not setting limits that we can't attain. Make sure that we are accepting our limits and accepting our feelings as well. Sometimes We do get depressed or have the feelings of anger or overwhelming feelings. In this, we might need to find a support group or a counselor to help us through those areas, and that's okay. We need to be realistic in what we're doing and what we're dealing with. But in number 6, that's what we're dealing with here. We need to stay healthy, keep ourselves healthy. Like we were just talking about, we need to exercise. We need to be positive, like the video was talking about. Find those things to feel grateful for and ask ourselves why, and tell ourselves because, and then understand what we're dealing with. So do your research. I know my parents' situation changes almost weekly, so I have to do research on their health issues and know what I'm dealing with so that I can make informed decisions and know if I'm in under my head or what we're dealing with in their situation. So make sure that you know what you're dealing with and how to cope. So we'll go on to the next slide, which is the additional resources I was talking about. These are the websites you can go to if you do need more help with making sure that you don't go into burnout or have anything anything that you need. These are places you can go for resources.